Hello everyone, it's Amy, and I am just here to do Cat Hands Mixed Media Morsels to show Nina Rabina how to do the glue process, and hopefully this will help. She didn't ask for it, but she's been trying and hadn't been able to get it to work. And it's such a fun process, I just wanted to show how to do it. And so the first thing that I did was, off camera, I just painted my papers. These are painted and they're dry. This is my background color, and I thought I would just do a reverse of each one and we'll see how they work. So the first thing that you do is you use a white glue, a PVA glue, and hold on a minute, I'm just going to take the top right off. And you want a thick layer of your glue on there. Whoa, I think that might be too thick of a layer. Okay, and then you're just going to spread that out, but you don't want it to be thin on your paper. So you want to just make sure that you get all the way to the edges. And just have it on there nice and thick. I mean, you could go too thick, but the biggest thing is going to be drying time, basically, is how long that will take to dry and whether your paint will slide off. Now I'm using watercolor paper just because that's what I have cut for my Mixed Media Morsels book, is watercolor paper, because it kind of works with everything. So once you get your glue on, you kind of want to just smooth it all out. Okay, and then we're going to let that sit for just a second while I do the next one. And you don't, it'll kind of, whoa, did it again. If you let it sit for just a minute, and like I'm not talking like 10 or 15 minutes, but just let it sit for just a minute, it kind of gets a little bit of a skin on top. It starts to dry slowly, and that helps it so that your paint doesn't move the glue as much. So, but again, we're going to get a nice thick layer on here. But yeah, I just thought that I would put this up for you, Nina, just because once you get it, you're going to have a blast doing it. So now I'm just smoothing that out. And see, the glue is kind of thick enough that you can see the paint through it, but not really well. It kind of clouds your paint a little bit or whatever. Now that paint is dry on the back. And then we've got our wet glue. I'll set that aside for just a second. And I'm going to clean this up. And I'll show you the ones that I did. I do have a Crackle medium, and that's part of the reason I'm doing this, because the Crackle medium that I have, and I just got it at a garage sale or something, or the Goodwill store, so, but the Crackle medium that I used made really teeny tiny crackles, and I wasn't happy with that. I mean, that's exactly what it was supposed to do, I'm guessing. I just didn't realize that they would be so little, and, it wasn't as impressive to me. This is the Crackle medium that I had, and you paint it on there, you let it crack, and then you paint your dark color, or your opposite color on top. But see, there's the little crackles, and that looks more like a crazing on old dishware. So I was looking more like for the old crackle effect that you see on furniture. And so this is my glue and paint Crackle, and it crackled really well. And where it kind of crackles is kind of where your brush strokes go. You can see that this is probably where I put my brush down and started to drag when I was evening out my paint. And it doesn't go exactly where your brush strokes go, but that's kind of how it works. So, okay, we'll do the green one. And all you want to do is I just put some paint like right across the top. And then just drag it. Oh, trying to figure out how I want to drag this. Just drag it across the top of your glue. And you kind of just want to do this like as least amount of times as you possibly can. You don't, the more that you mess with it, the more that the glue and the paint mixes together, and you don't get your crackle as well. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to put just a little bit more paint here, because I don't want to mix that paint in with my glue. And I didn't have enough to make it to the other end, so I'm just going to add some more. This paint is pretty thick. And there we go. Now the hardest part, you have to let it air dry. Because what makes your crackle is the paint dries faster than the glue does. So the paint dries. Oh, I just did that wrong, didn't I? I put green paint on top of green paint. That's not going to show at all. All right, well, let's put green paint on top of blue paint. I bet you all were sitting there going, no, no, don't do that. And I'm just going to spread it. And I put my paint right there because I've got a little bit of a bump in my watercolor paper. So I figured I could just go both ways. And again, you want your paint thick, but not too thick. Try and pick up some of this and put it on here. Well, we'll have to see how the green on green actually looks, because there's really nothing I can do about it now without messing it up. So there we go. We've got our dry paint, then a heavy layer of glue, a heavy layer of paint, and let it sit to dry. It's 6 o'clock in the morning here, so I will come back when it's dry, show you what it looks like, and give you some time frames. So I'll be back in just a little bit. I did just want to show you, it's been about 10 minutes while I was cleaning up, and see how the glue and the paint are kind of starting to separate. The paint's starting to dry, and so it's kind of shrinking. And that was the first one I did, so it's been drying a little bit longer, but this one is also starting to separate. So I just thought that I would show you that. So it does take a while for that to happen on some of them. When I did my other one here, I didn't see that separation for a lot longer. It wasn't just like 10 minutes. But I just thought that I would show you. You can kind of see how it starts to separate. But just don't touch it. Don't mess with it till it's dry. Because I've had some times where I think, oh, this isn't going to work at all. And I get up the next morning and it looks like this. You know, it just looks great. So just remember, just let it dry before you touch it. But I thought I would show you how it's already starting to separate. I'll be back when it's dry. Hello everyone, it's Amy, and it is 4 o'clock, so it's been 10 hours, and these are pretty much dry, and this is how they turned out. I do have one little glue spot there in the middle left to dry, but I think I put the glue on just a little bit too thick, but the thicker you put the glue, the bigger the cracks you're going to get. And then this is the one that I accidentally put the green on the green, but you can see how that has crackled. That would have been really gorgeous if I had put the blue on top. And I think what I may try doing is antiquing that. so that, because I think that if I put some paint on and then wipe it off, I think it will stick to the top coat, which is, you know, flat, and then the bottom coat, the glue, I think that when I wipe it off, I think that it will wipe off the glue. So I think I'll be able to antique that, and I'll just actually going to antique it with some blue and see how it looks. But I just wanted to let you know, so it's been 10 hours, and they're pretty much done. And I thought I would just really quickly come back and show you how they turned out. So if anybody's wanting to do this, I hope that this video helped. I had fun doing it. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.